If you'll join me. Father God, we just come to you now and we thank you and we praise you for all that you do. We thank you for this wonderful season that we're experiencing and that we're hopefully keeping our focus on you, Lord. And we just ask a special blessing on each county employee and their family. Lord, continue to keep them all safe and protect them. Lord, thank you for their service. Lord, we ask that you bless each commissioner and that you give them the wisdom and your guidance to make decisions to glorify you today. Lord, we know and we know you're God and we trust in you in that. Though we're walking through what seems like a valley, we know that you are leading us through. And so we will hold on to that. We ask that you continue to bless our military families. Thank you for protecting them and their families as they serve. And Lord, we just thank you for all you do for us. And it's in your son's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and be a symbol of perfect friendship among the United States. All right. First on the agenda is approval of agenda. All right. I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed. Item 2, approval of minutes from the December 1st meeting. All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the December 1st regular meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed. All right, item 3, approval of accounts payable and payroll. I will second that. We have a motion and a second to approve accounts payable and payroll. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. On to item 4, public requests. Ms. Hamilton, were there any? Yep, it is. Novel idea. How about now? There we go. If you couldn't hear us, the last 5 minutes were just phenomenal. So, Ms. Hamilton, were there any public requests?
I received a letter this morning that they have contacted me and asked me to read aloud. It says, "We, the people of Roosevelt County, request that our elected officials pass resolutions in support of opening back up our county offices, businesses, churches, and schools. We request that our elected officials convey that message to the governor of New Mexico with a clear and resounding message of support and solidarity with your citizens and their rights to earn a living, educate their children, and worship in the church of their choice. The people of Roosevelt County have been unduly burdened with the multiple mandates issued by the governor. We have lost many businesses that could not stand up to the financial losses that these unreasonable mandates have caused. We simply can't afford to lose any more. It is in the face of loss that we ask our elected officials to champion our cause to the governor and open our county. The people of Roosevelt County believe that we can protect our most vulnerable and at-risk citizens without destroying our economy and our children's future. The very people who are at risk or most vulnerable will not be affected by the opening of our county. They will still be able to shelter in place, and our county has a large number of organizations and services that can supply the needs of the risk in the very same way they do right now. These are ever-changing mandates from a single individual, the governor, and are unlawful in that they violate the highest laws of the land, the United States Constitution, the very Constitution that elected officials have sworn an oath to uphold and defend. The First Amendment states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Closing churches or limiting numbers to just a few in attendance, whether in church or anywhere else, clearly violates our First Amendment rights. The Fourth Amendment states the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants issued but upon probable cause supported by our oath or affirmation, particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. For law enforcement or public health employees to come onto private property, which is a privately owned business, is without a warrant to specifically shut businesses down is in direct violation of the Fourth Amendment. The Eighth Amendment states excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. The $5,000 per day fine that the governor has threatened for business owners who are just trying to lawfully operate in order to provide for their families is clearly excessive. The 14th Amendment states all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law. When the governor arbitrarily shuts down or restricts certain businesses while leaving other favored businesses open, it is in direct violation of equal protection of the law. Those businesses that are not allowed to legally do business are not provided the protection that the Constitution clearly guarantees. In the last few weeks, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled against New York and California for closing churches or severely limiting how many can attend. In their closing statement of these rulings, they stated, even in the pandemic, the Constitution cannot be put aside or forgotten. The law is on the side of the people if we allow our friends and neighbors to be taken advantage of like this and have their livelihoods illegally stripped from them without standing with and for each of them, then we are complicit in the lawlessness of our governor. In closing, we, the people of Roosevelt County, stood with you when we elected you to office. Now it's your turn to stand with us. If you have any questions or are in need of any additional information, please feel free to contact Bruce Nixon.
All right. And you said there was only one? That was it. Okay. All right. Any other public requests? Okay, not seeing any. We will move on to agenda item number 5, informational items. Roosevelt County Community Development Corporation annual update. Mr. Lucero, if you would please just push that button when you're ready on the
screen. So I guess it's working. Good morning. Again, my name is Jim Lucero. I'm the Executive Director of the Roosevelt County Community Development Corporation. That's a mouthful in itself. I joined the RCCDC in late March, right as the beginning of this COVID pandemic and the lockdowns. Of course, with those lockdowns, had severe cause and effects, which affected the communities and economic development. We deemed ourselves essential from the start, and I've been available in my office and phone for any businesses out there. One of the first things I did was reach out to 140 of our local businesses, introduce myself, and kind of told them what the RCCDC was all about, since some may or may not know that we're even there. I was kind of surprised that, the occasional business owner said, "Oh, I didn't know we had one of those," and and we went on from there. In April and May, we started a food bank fundraiser. The board recognized that there was a big demand for food for the pantries. They were at the time running out. We raised $9,374 for 11 food pantries in Roosevelt County, which I was kind of surprised we had 11. You can think of the big 2 or 3, but there's actually 11 that we donated to and helped them out. The RCCDC, we teamed up with the city of Portales, and we were one of the first communities to offer help to our local businesses through grants. The state legislature had recently allowed for communities under 35,000 to be able to use LEDA monies for retail. And the city council was one of the first ones to adopt one of those ordinances, and we took advantage of that during this trying times for our businesses. So we started a grant program, and with that grant program in phase one, we helped 14 businesses with $180,800 worth of grants. We were kind of surprised, quite honestly, that it was just 14. And one of the challenges we were having is getting the word out. And I know even with the Roosevelt County one we had just recently, getting the word out, social media, radio, newspaper, it still had gaps in there, and there were businesses that were missing out or just didn't take advantage of it for whatever reason. So we had a phase two after that, and we helped an additional 9 businesses for almost $95,000. So between those two grant programs, we had $275,500 that went out to small businesses to help them cope and survive during these trying economic times. As I mentioned earlier, the Roosevelt County had one, as you well know, and we just completed that one. There were 25 grants that went out for a total of $239,000 and some change. So between those 3 grant programs, the RCCDC, the city, and the county, we helped out 48 grants. We helped 48 individual businesses with grants totaling $515,000 that went out to help those small businesses in these very trying times. The RCCDC also gave out a grant to the Good Life Senior Living Center. And surprisingly enough, this week they accepted their first clients. I went and viewed and toured that facility late last week. It is an amazing, beautiful facility, 16 beds. I encourage you to take a look at that and tour there. I would have a loved one stay there in a heartbeat if necessary. It is an amazing place. They have plans to double in size for another 16 bed facility that's going to be on the same site. And they have future plans of some individual care ones that are more independent. So as you know, going by the Roosevelt General Hospital area, it has a lot of construction. There's a lot of amazing things that are happening over there. I think that's great for Roosevelt County and for Dallas. And I think that's a lot of positive things for our community. The RCCDC also manages the Roosevelt County Enterprise Center. I make sure, the tenants, we have tenants, they pay their bills on time, pay the bills and taxes and all those fun things managing that building. So that is one of the things that we've done. We've also recently, during the COVID pandemic, has installed about 8 hand sanitizer stations throughout the building. We also put a plexiglass partition in our welcome desk to protect employees also from possible exposure. So we know the building is up to par as far as that is concerned. We track all visitors through sign-ins, and we do all the things that are necessary and expected during these trying times. We've had a very busy year and challenging times, and we're currently doing our annual fundraiser. We have a very tight budget of just over $100,000. We usually have 2 employees, me along with the administrative assistant. That person was an Eastern student. She didn't return. She's doing her classes online, and I just never felt the need to, at this time, hire another one. So we kind of cut some costs there to save some money. But fundraising for 501c3s has been very challenging this year. Talking to other directors, giving is down, and it's not a surprise. Business and people, are just trying to survive. So we have goals out there. We're continuing to work on those, and we appreciate, the support the Roosevelt County has given us in the past. I know sometimes it's you've not been able to, and sometimes been very generous, but we've always appreciated your support, and I hope to continue to earn that support and work with y'all in the future. From that, do you have any questions?
Questions for Jim? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, for giving us that update. All right, moving on to item 6, elected officials, department heads reports, probate judge. Ms. Vargas. Oh.
Okay, can you guys hear me now? Forgive me. I don't have anything contagious, but I had been sick for 3 weeks and it's not COVID. So mom and dad had the flu and you can blame them. But I have been sick for the last 3 weeks. So I'd like to say thank you to the clerk's office because I let them know I was sick. So they were able to streamline a lot of calls for me and take everything and email me people who are trying to reach me for the last 3 weeks. I have been homebound, so because I didn't want to get out and make it worse. My white blood cell count does drop, so I have an autoimmune disease. So I had to take care of me. So I apologize if anybody got called in all this craziness. But I would love to just thank the clerk's office. They have been very good about handling the last 3 weeks. Thank you guys. And numerous people have been emailing me and texting me and calling me. So I do have several people I do got to finish out the year helping them over the phone. So I'll probably not meet with people the next 3 weeks, but I'll be helping them and guiding them over the phone, and I'll come in and sign documents as needed. With that said, as the probate office this year, with everything going on, we have a total of 37 probates filed as total probates. That includes miscellaneous probates and regular probates. Throughout my term as probate judge, since my term does end at the end of December, it's 208. And I can tell you with the COVID, it's been kind of fluctuating. We have been very busy, the clerk's office and myself, in the last 3 months. We have gotten numerous calls on how to handle probates. So we hope to help the community the best we can. And I wish you guys luck with your new judge because he doesn't get his training until February. So it will just take a lot of patience. So do you guys have any questions?
Questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I would just like to thank Ms. Vargas, Michelle, for your time served, and it was very enjoyable working around you.
I like to thank all of you for your patience and teaching me so much. You know, you guys have really educated me. Being in politics has been an adventure. So I wish anybody just to get with you guys who's new into it and start learning it the best you can, because the first month is like a roller coaster ride. So thank you guys. I appreciate this. I appreciate all of you. Thank you guys. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you. You as well. All right, we'll move on with the treasurer's office. Ms. Sanchez.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. I will be reporting on your general fund cash this morning for September, for the ending of September. You had beginning cash of $2,668,790.25. You had increases of $1,011,432.82. and we had decreases of $644,901.93. That is leaving your ending cash at $3,035,321.14. I looked this morning and collections were very good for December. So in our taxes, sorry, I'm fogging up my glasses. We were just a little over 60% collected. That's really good, especially with the times that we're in. So I'm super excited that we are standing where we're at, which is very on trend for this time of year. And I will stand for any questions.
You said 60% is it's very good, or? Yeah, okay. That sounds like it. I mean, I remember sometimes through the first collection, it's pretty low, but that's good to hear.
Yeah, typically you see anywhere from 50 to just under 60%. And this year we are at 60% collected. So that is super good news for our current situation with the times and how trying this can be. So yes,
Right.
it's very good news.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Sanchez? All right. Thank you.
Chairman Hunt, and I just want to express my gratitude to you for your service, and it's been a pleasure to work with you this year.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been great working with you as well.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to Detention Center, Mr. Porter.
Morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. The facility count today is 61. We have 16 females and 45 males. Currently, we're housing 7 out-of-county detainees, and the total number of bookings for November was 60, and the total number of releases in November was 61. Some of the information you guys requested that I report to you, we'll cover this now, is some transports to the Department of Corrections. In November, the detention center transported 4 males and 3 females to the Department of Correction. In December, we've transported 5 males and 3 females to the Department of Corrections. Right now, we have nobody pending transport because we don't have anybody that is sentenced or signed a plea, but we do have 2 awaiting to go back that have been brought to us from the Department of Corrections to testify in other trials. So once they're done, we do have those 2 that will be needing to go back. And that will probably happen in late January. Billing for the month of November, the city of Portales was billed $2,722.50. Union County was billed $25,800. Guadalupe, $2,175 for a total of $30,697.50. Some of the things that are going on at the detention center right now, our maintenance team has been working with us on some plumbing in the back day rooms and covering of our shower walls, and updating our lighting systems in the back to LED in some of our day rooms. We have 2 that have graduated the academy recently, and we have 2 in the academy going through training right now. The facility is continuing all of their COVID-19 practices, continuing to do our best to keep the facility as safe as we can, as clean as we can at all times. With that, I would like to share with you the next area, which is some of the court compliance, and I'll let you know what's going on with some of that. Court compliance is working and doing some research on a digital database that she can use to track and log everything. We don't have that right now. A lot of it is the old system, just paper documents in a file. And so she's doing some research on that. We've got some proposals in front of Amber that we're looking at. She's currently working on updating and archiving some of the files that she's dealing with in there and preparing for the turnover for the year. And she's been meeting with the district attorney's office about some of the changes that are going to happen and affect her office in the next year, starting in January, February. So with that, I will stand for any questions. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Porter, out of some of those people that you had to transport,
Yes, sir.
are they having to be transported on a certain day, or can we pick the day we transport them? Because when you say transport, you're talking to Santa Fe, or
Yes, sir.
that's not to court cases and stuff, right?
No, sir. The individuals that we're talking about to go to the Department of Corrections, the males are transported to Actually, it's just outside of Albuquerque. It's Las Lunas.
Mhm.
It's called Central, and that's where all the intake males for Department of Corrections will go. The females will go to grants. So they go across the state.
Yep.
Now we can take them typically any day. All the Department of Corrections asks is that we notify them the day before, get authorization so they can review the paperwork and make sure that they are entrusted into their custody and that everything is in order. And then they give us the okay to bring them. So typically we have to make the arrangements at least a day in advance, and then we can take them. They frown upon bringing them on the weekends. Not that we can't, it's just that their staff for intake is geared for Monday through Friday, and they prefer to accept those people during their business hours when their additional staff is there to receive them and book them in.
Is the trip to Grants, is it a overnight trip?
No, sir, it's one day.
One
We
day
leave
up,
here
one day
about
back.
4:30 in the morning and get back about 6 o'clock in the evening.
And then do we have to have two people when we transport them, two
Yes,
transport
sir.
officers?
Yes, sir. As my practice from the facility is I send two officers. One is, we have some people that may require a little bit more supervision during that transport, so somebody can concentrate on driving while the other individual can pay attention to the people they have in the back. And then the other is because the amount of time that we're spending traveling, 16 hours driving for one person is a lot for one person, especially when you have the responsibility of other people in your vehicle. So it gives them time to communicate, switch off driving, switch roles, or if somebody needs to take care of themselves, use the restroom, things of that nature, there's somebody to continue to watch the detainees in that. So that's been our practice, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Who made the transports in November and December?
The detention center did, sir.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Justin.
If I may, Chair, I would like to thank you also for your time and all of your time that you guys have spent supporting the facility throughout it. It's been a pleasure to work with you, sir, and hope to see you again around town.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you, sir.
All right, on to the manager's report. Ms. Hamilton.
Morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. So just a couple of things that we'll just touch on really quick. So our staff has been working extremely diligently on the CARES Act. For Carol, it has been a huge labor of burdensome paperwork. It's been incredible to see the difference. The requirements on the paperwork the state did change up, which is great for our local businesses. They required a mountain of paperwork from local governments, but they did change that up on the small business grants that they're doing through the finance authority. So again, we're very excited for our local businesses. They did allocate 40% of the $100 million specific for rural businesses. So I know that we've worked really hard to encourage all of our local businesses to apply. We did hear on the first round of funding that what they did have allocated, they received far more in requests than what they were planning to do. So it's very good to see that businesses are taking advantage of that. So we're following that very closely. We have submitted, Lily has also been working diligently to get our CARES Act request funding in. And so we have submitted our final request for that. And I will touch more on the small businesses later when it's on the agenda, but did want to let you know that we have submitted the final reimbursement request for the total of our $50,000. So we're well up in advance of the due date. We do have the HVAC installation installs scheduled for the Enterprise Center and the courthouse. They are to be done before the middle of January. And we're working those and trying to coordinate in conjunction with the roof restoration projects that are taking place on both of those facilities as well, following the hail storm. So those continue to move very smoothly. And other than that, quick report, I would stand for any questions.
I guess I can, Matt, if I have some questions for Ms. Hamilton, just to get my commissioner stuff out of the way. Okay. It wasn't on anything you spoke of, but talking about the public request earlier that you read, it comes to my recollection that did we not pass a resolution in the spring upon something about county businesses?
Commissioner Hutton had a resolution that he did bring forth on having the local decisions at that.
Yes, I believe we've passed a resolution once, kind of requesting the same thing. True?
Yeah, I don't have the verbiage in front of me to
Correct.
be
It
able to
was,
refer back
it
to.
was requesting local control.
Control. That's what I was
of
thinking.
the Pandemic.
And then my other question, if I can skip around here, is to the clerks, with COVID and everything, are y'all still open for the public to come in and get documents and records, or is it shut for that at the moment?
Sorry, Mr. Commissioner. Yes, they are, they make appointments and we, let them come in one at a time and they, schedule however much time they need and then we just kind of, let them use it and then we.
So you have to schedule a time to come in and
Make
get it?
appointments, yeah. We let them take turns.
Okay. Well, with this COVID and interest being so low, I've had a few calls saying that they was trying to get their loans and it was slow and some people are throwing it off on y'all. And I was just checking to make sure we were still open and things were going fine.
We do take calls and we make copies for them and we tell them they can come pick it up at the window and pay for it that way. They can't
Okay.
come into the office, but we can have it ready for them.
Okay. I was pretty sure of that, but I just clarified. That's all, Mr. Commissioner.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Hamilton or comments? All right. Then we will just move on to agenda item number 7, new business. Item A, discussion and consideration of additional capital requests commission prioritized with fiscal year 21 budget. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes, so Mr. Chair, Commissioners, so what y'all had done in prior years, as we did this year, of course, we removed all of our capital requests initially from the budget when we were adapting the initial preliminary and fiscal year budget for fiscal year 21. We did compile that list, and that was included in your packet. But at this point, we are at a level in revenues where we can recommend some of these purchases to be made. And on that today, after visiting with the different department heads and elected officials, you will see, so on the list for the road department, the first priority is, of course, a tractor. We're looking at a used tractor, very similar to the bid that we would be able to utilize, repurpose that bid that we've already done for this, for additional one. And also at least one of the fleet. For the sheriff's office, we're recommending one fleet. And at this point, we want to wait on the detention center. We do have the security upgrades as one of our top 5 ICIP projects, which we'll talk about at a later date. And we're still working through fleet with them. There is a potential that we will have a majority of the funding to purchase a new transport vehicle for them, which is needed at this point, following the insurance claim settlement and everything. So we're working on that. The fairgrounds, the pavilion roof is part of the insurance claim, so that's why you don't see that on there. And the detention center roof replacement is part of the insurance claim. So that's why those 2 items are no longer priorities. And then also on the La Casa roof, we did receive the $125,000 on capital outlay. And then we are set to be allocated somewhere around another $80,000 from the insurance allotment. So right now, tentatively, it looks like that potentially will fund that roof restoration project as well. So those are your lists that you asked me to compile, and we did revisit these last December to make additional purchases. So those are the recommendations. We just asked for y'all's consideration on what you would like to move forward with those, and then we will proceed from there. As far as taxes go, so as far as our budget, I know Ms. Sanchez reported collection, so that's for schools and for county. So when you look at the county budget, we're at 35% property tax, which we reported last month or last meeting. And again, that's right on target with where we're at. Where we're seeing the gross receipts tax is exceeding the initial budgets due to one-time expenditures within the county and those construction projects. So that's what we're recommending our capital purchases from. I would stand for any questions.
Does anyone have any questions or comments or want to address the capital priorities based off the list that we have in our packet? Okay, just approve kind of the list that's there. Do we need an approval, or were you just wanting approvals if changed? Okay.
We would like to have that. If we could have it in this, then we can work it through the budget adjustment.
Okay. Any questions, or you see the list there? Okay. Yep. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the additional capital requests commission prioritized for fiscal year 21 budget.
Which is going to include the tractor and a fleet for the road and one fleet for sheriff. Is that correct? Those three?
That's
Okay.
correct, yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Yes.
A minute.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 7B, discussion and review of the 2021 capital outlay priorities.
Yes, so, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, what we had included was, and most commonly they look at our top 5. As we're aware, we're moving forward with number 5 with the fairgrounds. But at this point, you'll recall that in fiscal year 21, or well, last appropriation year, we did receive road funding, and then that was vetoed. So we definitely have the road improvements left at that first priority. Those are basically the ones that y'all rolled over from the prior year to this year. Y'all adopted this ICIP back in August, I believe. So we're just revisiting those as well. So road improvements have stayed number 1 on y'all's list of priorities. And then we have the detention center security improvements, which would include the additional camera system, fencing, a variety of different phases through there. As far as the road equipment goes, that's where we actually have the loader and heavy equipment on that one. So we have that as well. We also included a tractor in that estimate in the event that we weren't able to utilize the county's funding sources. So we could see that request drop. We have budgeted for 390, but we would only be requesting for the purchase of a loader, which we have been advised that capital outlay, what we're looking at is a bonding situation. So that's why we're very diligent with all of our allocations. We've ensured that everything is spent and closed out or in the process of procurement and working through that process, so that when we go and we talk to our legislators, they see that we're moving our awards. So we're really good, and thankful for that. Carol works very hard to keep all the paperwork moving. The Bonham House updates. We have Bonham House listed as number 4 because we have identified some issues there. We did have the roof replacement on here and included, but now we will focus on the stucco. There is some needs for patching on that. And then we also need to replace 3 HVAC units. And then we need to replace the doors and the windows. And again, this is the group home shelter that the county owns and takes care of. So we have that project, and then y'all are aware of the fairground, so that moves off. And I really think that with those top 4, that it's going to be more than what, those requests will be substantial for the request at that point. Number 6, of course, is detention center flooding. So if we were in a position to need to move that one up, we could. But right now we focus on the top 5. Is there any discussion y'all want to have on that? Are y'all comfortable with those top 5 as we move forward with our request to our legislators?
I think for me, looking over the list, I think those make the most sense to keep up there moving forward. All right. Okay. Any other Questions or comments? Okay, so we have a motion and a second to just keep those 2021 capital outlay priorities set as they are. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Moving on to agenda item 8A, consideration of resolution 2020-34, revising the Roosevelt County Detention Center annual policies and procedures. Mr. Porter.
Morning, Chair and Commissioners. I'm going to ask that you guys approve our policies for the facility. We have one significant change to the policy. There was a new policy that was written that just covers water outage, water shortage that I wanted to add. Unfortunately, over the 3 years, it's been kind of frequent that we've had plumbing issues throughout the city that would affect. So I wanted to kind of put that down. We practiced it enough. It seems to work well. So we went ahead and added that. Other than that, to our policy and procedure manual, there were no real significant changes, just some facial things updating from version 1 to version 3. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
All right.
Yes, I have.
All right. Any questions?
With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept Resolution 2020-34, revising the Roosevelt County Detention Annual Policies and Procedures. As presented by Mr. Porter.
All right. I will second that motion. Ms. Dixon, how do you vote? Yes. Yes. All right. 3 yes votes. Thank you, Mr. Porter.
Thank you.
All right. Item 8B, consideration of resolution 2020-35, establishing a Roosevelt County annual training policy.
So Ms. Olds is not able to join us today, but what y'all did have included in your packet is something she's been working on for the better part of a year, following the recommendations coming from New Mexico counties and their risk authority, as well as the insurance, of what we need to look at in terms of mandatory training and what the program can be defined by. Each of those was included in here, and there are a variety of different trainings that will be required at an employee level as well as a supervisory level. And as noted in there, that once this is adopted, we'll have 1 year to comply. So we'll be able to get everyone on the schedule. A lot of these, majority of these will be provided online through Local GovU. That's something that we've been taking advantage of now for some time. It's a great platform that New Mexico Counties offers through that. So it's very basic. We just need to have these things outlined. So other than that, I would stand for questions.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Hamilton?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2020-35, adopting with amendment.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2020-35. Commissioner Lee? Yes. Yes?
Yes.
All right. 3 yes votes.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 8C, consideration of resolution 2020-36, declaring an exceptional drought and fire danger emergency in Roosevelt County. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes. So, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, the prior resolution that y'all adopted on November 9th would expire before our next meeting in January. So it was something that needed to be considered at the 45-day mark. They've also raised our level of drought to exceptional. Now we're in the deep burgundy, and that is 99% of the county. And you saw that, I'm sure, in the map that was attached as well. So this is just a continued renewal of the existing resolution.
And it appears that there's really no end in sight. There's no moisture. Are there any questions? All right.
36, declaring exceptional drought and fire emergency in Roosevelt County.
I will second that motion. Ms. Dixon, how do you vote? Yes.
Yes.
3 yes votes on resolution 2020-36. Item 8D, consideration of resolution 2020-37, second quarter budget adjustment resolution. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes. Mr. Chair, Commissioners, so included in your packet was the second quarter adjustment. This included the additional transfer that was adopted with our loan application for the environmental department. We have that allocation to a fund to suffice the budget or the debt requirement that would come with that of the $325,000. We also needed to see an increase in the hospital gross receipts payouts to taxes because of the increase in GRT collection. There were some modifications to the indigent fund as well, again, in the special Medicaid that is actually intercepted at the state level due to GRT tax collection. The rest are just minor adjustments that you've seen. I would stand for any questions if you had anything on those items.
All right. Any questions on the budget adjustment?
Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept resolution 2020-37, second quarter budget adjustments.
All right. I will second that motion. Commissioner Lee, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes. 3 yes votes
Thank you.
for resolution 2020-37. Moving on to 8E, consideration of resolution 2020-38, establishing a cost of living adjustment for county employees. Ms. Hamilton.
Okay, so this is the exciting part that we have before us. And this is something that, as we discussed in our initial preliminary budget development and all of those stages, we had made that difficult decision to have to freeze where everyone was at on our pay scale. And this was one of the first things that the commission really wanted to look at as soon as we were able to. We do realize that, of course, our employees are our top asset. They are our priority, and they are also our largest expense and liability. So we always want to make sure that we're taking care of those that we have that are qualified, and being able to ensure that we continue to offer that competitive pay. So what we have before you is actually a cost of living increase or adjustment for county employees. This is commonly referred to as a COLA. This is set as a percentage, and it's based upon salary. So as you will see included in here, they have an annual salary under $30,000 would be 4%. Between 30 and 40 is 3.5%, and so on, and it goes down. We have it worked in here, and the commission will be able to consider the different. It would be effective as of today, so it would go in for the next pay period. And this is money that is both within the budget and has already been saved just through December with the savings that has been generated in the freezing of positions and not having those positions filled. So I had Ms. Olds run a detailed spreadsheet of all of those positions that we have saved in those, and just again through December, we're looking at $76,606.33. If you choose to do this for all classified and contractual employees, it will be $76,883. So it's within a couple $100 of where we're at, and again, it is in the budget and it is already accounted for as of December. This will not continue to reflect any additional savings that we may have from positions after January. So with that, I would stand for any questions on the resolution.
All right. I had a couple questions on it. It's county classified, contracted, and grant employees. Who are the contracted and grant employees? What are those positions?
Certainly, we have one employee right now that's classified as a grant employee, and that is deemed that if the funding is available, and that is within the court compliance office. And so if the court compliance officer is able to, like that budget is able to sustain, which at this point it is not, but if it became able to sustain. The other caveat that is in here also that applies to the court compliance officer and several employees is that they have to have 1 year of full-time continuous employment with the county. So as of December 15th, as of the effective date, and if they if they haven't had their 1 year, then it won't be effective until that date. So Ms. Olds has identified that. And then there are 3 contractual employees that the county has. The commission hires the county manager. Then we also contract and hire the detention administrator and the road department and administrator. So we have those 3 are the
Okay.
contract. So it's a total of 4 of those.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. With no other questions, I will make a motion to approve Resolution 2020-38, establishing a cost of living adjustment for county employees. All right. We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Dixon? Yes?
Yes.
All right. 3 yes votes. I think it is very much deserved for all of the county employees, without a doubt. And sometimes it's a shame that it takes years, 2 or 3 or 4 or more years to get a cost of living adjustment passed, but I'm glad we were able to do it. Item 8F, request for approval of notice of intent for consideration of ordinance 2021-01, an ordinance relating to the promotion of the ethical conduct of public officials within Roosevelt County and addressing interference by county commissioners or other elected officials. Mr. Knudsen.
Yes, good morning. You just have before you a notice of intent today. The ordinance, I don't believe is, the resolution is not, the changes aren't attached, or are they? Oh, they are? Yeah, so I basically have included some changes to bring our ethics ordinance in more compliance with the Governmental Conduct Act. And that's what I'm trying to do.
All right. Any questions? And again, this is just the notice of intent. The discussion of the ordinance will be once the ordinance comes up. So. Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion to accept the ordinance 2021-1,
The intent.
the intent.
All right. I will second the motion. Commissioner Dixon, how do you vote? Yes?
Yes.
All right. 3 yes votes and 1 more notice of intent ordinance. Item 8G, request for approval of notice of intent for consideration of ordinance 2021-02, considering a tax rebate of a part of property tax due from low-income taxpayers. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes, so this is something that the commission has to do every odd year. And this is charged in the legislature. And even though we've tried to get this one changed, they have not granted that to local governments. So they want local governments to consider this. This was considered in 2019 as well. The ordinance itself was attached with the original notice of intent. And again, the notice of intent is just so that we can get it published in the paper and advertise that this would be considered at the January 12th meeting. I would stand for any questions.
All right. Any questions? I'm not hearing any. I will make a motion to approve the notice of intent for ordinance 2021-02. We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Yes? 3 yes votes. All right, we'll move on to agenda item 9, contracts, agreements, and procurements. 9A is request for ratification of 7 Roosevelt County Small Business Grant Awards to in total amount of $60,289.77. Ms. Hamilton.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, so these were included in there. We are very excited. This will be Peter Thompson Dentistry, with the award of $10,000. Clovis Wireless LLC, which has the wireless location over here in Portales on, it's not A, maybe B. I think it's going to be B. It's right across from, or right adjacent to Wells Fargo Bank. Right in that area is the drive-through. It's B. and Juanito's Restaurant, as well for 10,000 for rent and electric, and then steak. So it's McCarty's Steak Basket for another 10,000 for payroll. Rosie's Hair Salon, we were able to help with rent and utilities for the 4,821. Romero's Tire Shop for rent and utilities insurance of $6,047, and then Roosevelt Nail Salon $9,224. And these are all have been approved at our level, and we're asking for y'all's ratification approval as well. We have submitted this to the state for theirs. We have not yet received those funds. So once these funds are received from the state, then we will be able to release those to the businesses like we have done in the prior two allocations. If there's any changes or if the state has any issues, then we have other additional businesses that are in the queue that then we would revisit, but we don't anticipate any issues. Thank you.
Yes. So there are available?
No,
There are no more?
this is
So the last ones that we'll be awarding to, that's
as
all?
with the state approval.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the question I had too, but, the Clovis Wireless, I mean, is it just anybody that holds a Portales business license or?
A whole variety we've discussed before. They have to have a business, they have to have the location physically here. So that's just the name, but the business itself is in Roosevelt County. And it is a small business and they meet all of the criteria. So the location is here in Portales, and they do meet every criteria. And they did apply and follow the protocol. I think their name is like Tex-Mex Wireless, actually, is what you see on their building. They just have the LLC under a different name.
All right. Any other questions?
No, but I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman, to approve the
Sure.
ratification of the 7 Roosevelt County Small Business Grant Awards.
All right. I will second that motion. Commissioner Dixon? Yes?
Yes.
All right. 3 yes votes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to agenda item 9B, consideration of joint powers agreement, Ute Reservoir Water Commission. Commissioner Dixon.
Yes, I was given this.
Will you hit your? Thanks.
This is that board that I sit on. We have to do this. We went through everything and we just need a signature on it. We do not have any dues. We don't have anything on this. We are a non-voting member at this time because we do not have any water rights. But this basically to stay on this is for in the future, if any other commissioners down the road decide that they want to get water rights back, if Roosevelt County ever wants to and gets back in that, this leaves the door open for anybody in the future. It doesn't cost us anything to stay on it. And this is just what we do to stay on.
Okay.
I have no question.
Okay, Mr. Knudsen, have you read through the joint powers agreement? I mean, what is the agreement between somebody that isn't voting, doesn't have water rights? I mean, I understand what Commissioner Dixon's saying. It's basically future protection in a sense.
I think they're just asking, we still remain members. We're non-voting members. So I think this is all just form over substance.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything substantively that we're doing. We're just signing because we remain a member.
Okay.
I don't know it's necessary, but I can't see it obligates us to anything or.
Okay, that was my concern is if in the contract, I mean, I didn't see anything reading through it, but I wanted your opinion and then we heard from Commissioner Dixon. So, okay, I think that sounds good. Well, I will make the motion to approve the joint powers agreement with the Ute Reservoir Water Commission.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion in a couple seconds. Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. Motion carries. Item 9C, request for consideration of road use agreement with the Eastern New Mexico Water Utility Authority. Ms. Hamilton.
Yes, sir. So this agreement was included in your packet, and there is one repair, as Commissioner Dixon caught. And I need to add water on the front page of the agreement, but otherwise it is very standard, and follows the, agreements that we have set forth with the Sagamore Wind Farm and with the Roosevelt Milo. We were approached, by the Eastern Mexico, or the Water Authority or Utility Authority, mouthful. And they reached out to us because they are going to be crossing two of our county roads. One of them is a caliche road and one of them is a chip seal. And so we had to look at what they were doing in terms of the project, and both myself and Mr. Lovato met with them. What we're recommending to the commission is the agreement to actually allow them to cut both roads and then come back in and patch like we have specified in our agreement here, because they are putting in a pipeline with an excessive diameter. If they were looking at boring, it would be very costly for them. And I think the initial estimates were going to be over $80,000 per crossing, in addition just for the jack and bore. So that was something that they reached out, and we definitely want to be partners. We understand that this is a priority for all of these. Both myself and Mr. Lovato felt like we could do this in a way to follow both our policy, but also adapt with what they need to do. So you will notice that there are DOT specs that are highlighted in here. There are specifics on backfills. And then we've also requested the concrete cap over, much like what we did in the residential area when we had the burnout incident and everything, very much along those same lines. And they are using that special filmer, the controlled low strength material that they will backfill over their pipe as well, so that it's really going to minimize the settlement. So all of these things we have taken into account and worked with them on, and that's what's presented before y'all today.
Mr. Chair, I would just like to disclose that my husband sits on the board of the ENMWA, the Eastern Mexico Water Utility Authority. It's not going to affect my decision, but I did want to disclose that he's on that board.
Okay.
Are they gonna, Ms. Hamilton, pay all the permit fees, cut fees?
All of that's included in here in the agreement. Yes.
And does Eastern New Mexico Water Authority supply any water to any of the residents of Roosevelt County?
Yes. So the city of Portales residents, which are within Roosevelt County, are set to receive
I'm
those
having a
as
hard
well.
time hearing. How do they supply to Portales?
They will. So the plan is to bring this water to the city of Portales as well. So yes, we will have residents. It also will, the plan is to continue it on down to the town of Elida. I believe those are the two main municipalities that are participating in this.
Yeah.
On the Water Authority?
Yes, I'm on the board as well of the Water Authority. I just want to address Commissioner Lee's comments. Also, we serve Portales, but also the rural co-op, since they are tied to Portales' water line. So Roosevelt County residents that are on the co-op also get that water as well. Just want to.
Yeah, so it really is a large chunk of Roosevelt County because of that. The co-op does purchase the water from the city.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, I will make a motion to approve the road use agreement with the Eastern New Mexico Water Utility Authority.
I'll second you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Commissioner Dixon?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right.
And Mr. Chair, I would love to circle back actually while we're still here to the budget adjustment.
Okay.
Because I do have two prepared, and I want to clarify when I was reading off the list. I did have one prepared just as standard, and I did include one to also include, well, I made several options, but one does include also the fleet, the tractor, and the fleet addition for the sheriff's office. So I want to ensure that y'all are comfortable with that, because I want to include that in our second quarter budget adjustments if possible. to revisit that so that we can go ahead and move forward with allowing them to begin the procurement process. If not, I'll need to bring it back at another meeting, but I would like to have it included here.
You want the okay to start the process for these vehicles and equipment?
Well, you've already done that. So
Yes.
this is just to do with the budget adjustment. So just want to acknowledge that the budget adjustment that y'all have adopted includes the money for the allocation for the tractor and the 2 fleet is what I'm looking for. Sorry, just to clarify.
I believe I made
Oh,
that
okay.
motion. didn't
Yeah,
I?
just to clarify that, looking at the capital priorities that have been delayed, that we did approve all those and they are in the second quarter adjustment.
Yes, I just wanted that in the
Okay.
notes. Thank you.
Is the clerk good with that?
Okay.
My
All right.
apologies.
There is no media communication. I just, before we kind of go off and away, I just wanted to thank everybody for the last 4 years. It has been fantastic. We've all been through the good, the bad, and the ugly of government, but it is a fantastic learning experience, and I wish people and more people would get involved to see how everything truly works. But I couldn't have asked to be with a better commission and employees of the county from top to bottom. So thank you all.
Mm.
Well, we will recess. For now, we do have the annual commission detention center inspection.
When you're chair, it's really hard to be sneaky. But the commission and administration has got a little something for you, and it's just in honor of all you've done. It just says, presented to Matthew Hutton in honor of your exceptional dedication, stewardship, and commitment to Roosevelt County. And thank you for your public service. So we want to honor you with this as well.
Well, thank you.
Hold on, y'all stand by the flag there.
Well, it's y'all that needs to
Yeah.
take a picture.
Get up there, Amber.
Okay.
Man, a little bit to the, there you go, right that way, Amber. No. Y'all scoot that way a little bit.
Oh.
Right there. All right.
And how are y'all in here? It's more coming.
That's all right.
Well, thank you very much. Like I said, it has been an honor, and it's a good group here at the county. So, all right, now we will recess annual commission detention center inspection and adjourn.